All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, we got a little rally going in the S&Ps this morning. Closed right off the low of the day. Went a little bit lower after the downgrade of the Italian banks, but got a nice rally on our hands.
Yeah, we're popping up pretty good here, Joel. 8-point rally. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a good pop off the bat. It seems like every morning we go down and then we slowly start to climb back. Well, today's the opposite. We are getting a pop here, being up 8 points. But it's been the play to fade a lot of these moves. The exception kind of, I guess, yesterday, but we'll have to see what happens.
Okay, need to keep an eye on Monday's high, intraday high of 1343.75. That coincides with the Friday's low at 1344. Seeing the Globex session that we got up to 1347, but I would still focus on the 1344 area. Coming back on the downside. Really not much between here and the close. 1339 and a quarter will be mild support. Have some earnings out, Dennis, and doesn't look like Home Depot did too well.
Home Depot trading down significantly, Joel. Actually, just now getting a little bit of a pop. It's trading 48.56. The stock got down, believe it or not, to 47.62. So stock got significantly lower here in the pre-market. Obviously, you always want to write down those pre-market lows because those levels can come into play during the regular session. It's bouncing around quite a bit here. I still think this whole 48 area might come into play here too. You had a high back in February, 48.07, and then you also had a low back in early March of 48 right on the button. So 48, you never know, might come into a little bit of play. If it really started going to sell-off mode, keep an eye on that pre-market low.
Yeah, you definitely have halfway decent volume trading in this issue right now, almost 500,000 shares. Getting a monster bounce off that 47.60 level. I have to agree with you, Dennis. 48 looks like more of a play. Still 16 cents away from that. You also had a low of 47.83 back on March 9th. So keep a close eye on that entire area down to 47.60. Coming back on the upside on that pop, we did get to 48.60, so that will be our resistance for now. And also just keep in mind, here's a stock that at the beginning of the year was trading at $41, $42. It's had a nice run, made a 52-week high, almost near $53. So to get back a little bit of it, come back and trade in the 46, 47 area would not be a big surprise.
Lowe's having a sympathy move with the Home Depot. It's been trading down all morning, trading at 28.95. Now it has bounced back. Joel will find out how low that thing got. No pun intended there. 29.56 is where it closed. It is trading 28.95 right now. I'm looking at the chart here. It's hard, really. You could say, this 29 area might give you a little bit of a bounce if it really, if it holds up here. But real support down in the 28 area, and we're trading 28.95 right now. So, and since we've cut through that 29 so much, I wouldn't really put any validity in that 29 level anymore. I'd like the 28 level a little bit better.
Yeah, 28.50's been holding up in the pre-market. Dennis just got a nice pop up to 29 on that, so that could be your early range. Not nearly as much volume being traded here in Home Depot. I do see that 28 level that you're talking about. You had 3 consecutive lows between 27.78 and 27.92. I don't think they're going to get it down that far here on the Home Depot news. I mean, it's sector related, but you still have to rely on the earnings from Lowe's in order to beat a stock like that. Coming back on the upside, Dennis, after hitting that 28.50, we've kind of stalled here at the $29 level. In order to sneak back into yesterday's range, though, we got to get up to 29.41. So anything over 29.30 to 40 should be major resistance.
Groupon, Joel, talk about a stock getting a pop here. Yesterday had a monster run into the earnings report. with this $1.70 move that it had yesterday, and now all of a sudden it's getting another 3-point jump, 14.69. This is a real hard stock to call. You've got a lot of people short, so you're getting a short squeeze here now. The stock is cut through. You don't have really anything much on the chart until you get into that whole where these bottoms all were, Joel, in the 1660 area, and that's also where we gapped down, coinciding from the high on that gap was 16. Trying to grab it there. 1657. So if it went up another 2 points, I think you're under resistance. They're just saying a heck of a lot in here right now, Joel.
1490 is what we hit in the pre-market. Kind of consolidated at the 1375 level. Did a little dip to 1350, and then just made a strong move here up and made the high at 1490. Dennis, I do see this stock perhaps running into some problems at the pre-market high, which was 1490. Above that, you have a high on April 4th at 1523, and then another high at 1548. So if in fact you get to that $15 level, you gotta imagine there's going to be sellers all littered through the 15, Dennis. I mean, this is just such a large move. I saw that they beat by a penny, but I don't know. Did they give some decent forward guidance or something?
Yeah, they did. They gave some decent guidance on the thing. I think they were excited. It was, I think, Groupon's first profit too. So the problem is there's just so many people that were short this stock. So you got a short squeeze going on. When you start combining a short squeeze and then you get some real investors coming in, it's really tricky to call where the thing tops out at, because when somebody's underwater, 20, 30% in a couple of days and they're shorts, the panic can just set in and you never know where they might cover. And this thing is not that liquid. It appears to be liquid, 3, 4, 5 cent spread, but it moves, man. And I think it's kind of a gamble here. I think long run the thing goes a lot lower. I just don't like the overall. I think it's a duplicatable business model. But short run, short squeezes can really make stocks do some funny things, and can really make even dogs take off. So hard to say where this one stops.
It's a model can be repeated. They have a huge leg up on everybody, and they're getting started in the obviously in the United States, but they're also starting to do this worldwide too, Dennis. So it's kind of hard to gauge where the growth is not only going to be from the United States, but there's going to be people using these all over the world. But don't have really a long-term opinion on it, though. I just short-term keep an eye on the $15 level.
Avon Products played around with Cody too long here, Joel. Cody pulled the offer last night. Stock is getting killed. Trading 1802 right now. Is trading a bit lower than that. I like this whole 18 area. I think that's where we had a lot of consolidation back before the Cody offer was even on the table. I mean, is Cody just playing games here? Are they going to come back? Hard to say, but when you play around with a company this long, and obviously the board wanted another week to discuss it. Well, Cody just said, forget about it, pull the offer, and obviously now Avon shareholders are probably pretty discouraged with their management.
Yeah, the street was pretty convinced it wasn't going to go through because it got nowhere near that $23.75 level where the proposed takeout was. The only thing I'd have to say is I wouldn't be short this stock down here, Dennis. $18. Everyone that faded the move on it, because if the board doesn't take this offer, they better have one hell of a plan to explain to their shareholders why they didn't take it. Now that their stock's back at $18. And funny things happen with these takeovers. Someone else comes in, or Cody may come back one more time, or not that I'm that big of a fan of the company, but when things bounce around, I consider this stock still to be in play.
Yeah, it is possible. When you're a day out of play, it can always come back into play, so something to keep in mind. I think Joel's giving you some good advice. Shorting the stock isn't that advisable. Going long, you just got to be buying still just for the fundamentals more than anything. If you think it's got a viable business model still, and and obviously there is that you could have a possibility that somebody comes back in or Cody comes back, so you could have an upside, like almost like a call on this thing, where if it didn't come into play and it could take off again. What else do you got there, Joel, moving?
Just along with the SPOOs, the top 10 components, ExxonMobil knocking on the high of the door yesterday also was Friday's low. So ExxonMobil opening up to resistance. Apple, after spending very little time under that 560 level, did take out last week's low, closed under there, now getting a nice $5 pop. Will be interesting to see if that can get anywhere near yesterday's high. And just look, I mean, the SPOOs are up 8. I don't know if we closed at a huge discount to the cash or whatever, Dennis, but I just don't see stocks up that much.
No, there isn't that many stocks. I mean, you've got Apple. Apple's having a good move here, being up $4.76 because yesterday, let's be honest, Joel, chart started to look pretty ugly there on Apple. It got right near 558.73 was that low from 4 sessions ago. It closed right near the low of 558.22. Actually, did it close right? What was it? Oh, 557.60. So it did take out that low just by a little bit. I mean, the key bogey number we've been talking about is 555. It starts to take that out. I'm going to get real nervous with this stock. But this could be a nice bounce here to sell Apple into. What do you think of that play, Joel? Do you think Apple is going to break down? Or do you think it's just going to keep meandering here around until eventually it starts to drift higher again?
Dennis, this is a little bit below the level where when the earnings announcement came out, we popped to 618. I think Apple's going to be range bound here between now and maybe for the next couple months. This could be the lower end of the range. So I don't know, Dennis. I don't know. I'd stay long here at 560 area is my area. 555 gets to get taken out. I'd have to get out of that trade, but just seems like it's getting ready for a pop. It hasn't had one of those big up days in a while, and who knows about the Facebook effect on Friday?
Well, and that is, could be a catalyst for the overall market. I know you wrote that paper there on our site, the Facebook IPO, on what it could do for the overall market to be a driver going forward. If Facebook does have a good IPO, they raised the price on it yesterday on the IPO price.
Oh, really, Dennis? What a surprise!
What a surprise. So the range up to 35 to 38 now. I mean, this thing is probably going to open over $50 in the secondary. If not, it could even open higher. If it really starts to, perform well, that could get some interest in the overall market here again, which could be a catalyst for the market going forward. So if you are short the market, just obviously be aware of the Facebook catalyst on Friday.
Yep, I agree with you, Dennis. It's just the only reason I'm not getting super bearish down here is because of that Facebook IPO. And if that makes any sense to you investors, then you're starting to think like me, and that could be a sad thing.
We do have a couple other ones just to mention here in the Big Ten. Chevron here, key level here, Joel. I was just looking at the chart. Obviously, it's had some multiple bottoms between this $100 level, 151, and then yesterday's low, 101.27. So this whole area, it is sitting around major support. I know we talked about a potential head and shoulders yesterday, kind of breaking down. You've got this major resistance going up at 104, Joel. What's your take on Chevron?
Kind of the same thing. I was watching at the end of the day when the SPOOs were, kind of selling off pretty hard and Apple was getting beat up. But ExxonMobil and also Chevron were not even close to their lows of the day, and they just kind of hung in there and even, popped a little bit on the close. And on a few occasions, I've noticed, these oils kind of firming up a day or two ahead of the market. So 102.50 is a great swing area in the Chevron Corporation. If it busts through there, Dennis, I mean, it's really get your order out at like 103.99 because there is nothing stopping this thing if it gets back above 102.50 and can hold.
Microsoft did go ex-dividend today, so it has a 20-cent ex-dividend adjusted close of $30.48. So I know it shows 30.68 on a lot of your software that doesn't adjust for the dividend. The adjusted close is 30.48. So Microsoft trading 30.76. The dividend players there, Joel, pretty happy that Microsoft getting the pop because they get the 20 cents, they get an extra 8 cents on top of it if they're selling it here right now. What's your take on Mr. Softy?
Dennis, why don't you tell me about that last week when this thing was getting near $30? Because those dividend players come in. They don't come in. A lot of times they come in the day before, but they build their positions, 7 to 10 days ahead of time. And this thing for the people that were buying it all last week when it got got down to 30.10. I still use the numbers. I know that ex-dividend has a pretty good impact on things. I think this $31 level, anybody that did play it short term and got the dividend and the stock is up, 31.04 should be a good number. $31 area as an exit point.
That's all I've really got for you here today. You got a lot of financials are bouncing back here. Okay, JP Morgan is up 35 cents this morning. So some of your financials bouncing back, some of your commodities, some of your cyclicals bouncing back. Obviously, some of your retailers with Home Depot and a lot of other retailers reporting too. Dick's we didn't get to, and some of the other ones. So just be aware of those sectors that are moving. Any closing thoughts?
Just keep an eye on this 13.39 a quarter as a swing area. 13.44 on the upside. That was yesterday's high, and of course the Globex high 13.47. Doesn't look like we have the mojo to get back down to yesterday's low, and the Globex low as well, 13.32 and a quarter. So, folks, that's our show for today, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.